everyone, and welcome to, my hair's in my face, and welcome to Witch Hollow Homestead. I haven't put a video up in about a month because winter this year for us has been brutal. It was supposed to be really wet and unseasonably warm, which is great, but we had the polar vortex push down on us, and every single day it snowed. And didn't just snow a little bit, snowed really hard, and we had to clean the driveway sometimes 3 times a day. So it's been a lot, and I haven't really had the energy along with the mental capacity to make a video. So that being said, it is now March. It is sunny outside, and it is starting to melt, thank goodness. You can see some of the pots on the deck, which I can show you quickly. I'll insert here. You can see some of our pots on the deck. They were all fully buried. Our vertical garden was buried halfway up on our deck. Our Vago garden bed out back was fully covered, even to the little green stakes. You couldn't even see them. So yeah, it's been interesting. I hope everyone else had a better winter than us. Today, I thought I would show you my garden planning for 2025. This year it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try a few different things. I am adding more beds, so I bought 4 additional 3.5 by 5 foot beds that are 17 inches high. I bought a really long bed, which I think is 3 by 9. I'll have to look at the packaging, and that's 32 inches high, and that one's going to be for my tomatoes, because I always like to buy the heirloom tomatoes that could really use a lot of root space, and I just don't have the capacity for that. So this will be my big tomato bed. I also purchased a raised garden bed that is 2 by 6, and it has wheels on it, which is nice, so you can move it around a little. And that one is going to be for herbs and flowers and just a variety. And then I bought one more vertical garden, another green stalk, just like last year, because I love that vertical garden. Everything in it grew beautifully. Everything I put in it liked shade, so I could put it on the deck. It would get a little sun all morning long, and then in the afternoon it would get a little bit of shade, and the pests were non-existent for it because it was on the deck. So I finally got to have basil that didn't get destroyed, and I had lettuce, and I had flowers, and it was great. So I bought another one. I'm planning on growing spinach in a whole bunch of it this year. So that being said, one of the changes I'm going to make that I'm going to try out is square foot gardening. Never tried that before. I tend to just kind of wing it and throw stuff in. So I'm going to attempt square foot gardening. I know with that you need a lot of rich soil and fertilizer, so I am prepared for that. I have my good soil from last year along with a whole bunch of compost, and I love the Vermont compost. So I ordered that. That's sitting out in the garage and ready. And then I also have my liquid kelp and then my other organic fertilizers that I used last year. I don't know if I showed you guys those. So this year when I'm planting and going throughout the season, I'll show you what I use. Another thing is companion gardening. I pause because anywhere you read, you're told different things. And I have a feeling it's because people write their garden information per the area they live in. Stuff that grows really easily for them, stuff that they can get in greenhouses or whatever the case. So that one's a little bit trickier for me. I have this book, Companion Gardening for Beginners. There is a lot of great information in this. I think it's a little bit too thick with information. I like to the point. gardening is still very new for me. This will be my fourth year. This will be my fourth year. And this is an adventure for me because it's something I didn't grow up doing. My parents weren't big into gardening. We had a garden up here, but we just threw whatever we wanted in there and didn't really know too much. So I like stuff very direct. While this is a good book, there's just a lot. And I'm a very visual person. Reading something, it's okay, but it doesn't do it for me. I need a lot of visualization. And there's only a small section in it where it shows you some companion gardening ideas. You see that? And while this is so helpful to me, and this is all great, like I said, there's only a few pages. I need more than that. So I am going to do my companion gardening like I do with cooking, what I want to do. I'm going to take multiple ideas in and then spit it out, and we'll see what happens. So this will be interesting. If you companion garden and you square foot garden, please comment below. Give me your take. Give me your information. Give me some tips, some ideas. I am here to learn because there is so much I don't know. And I had thought about not filming this because I know so little, but maybe that'll help somebody else out there, or maybe it'll make you feel better if you go, yeah, I don't know anything either about gardening, so let's do this together. So I thought it might be inspirational. I thought the first thing that, sorry, pause, I'm trying to think where I want to go with this. I thought the first thing that I would focus on is potato beds. So I went to gardensupply.com, but if you type in square foot garden planner, they give you pre-planned square foot gardens, which is awesome. And then you can also plan your own, which is also great. So first thing, super easy, super simple. I'm going to do 3 beds of potatoes out front for the beginning of the season. And that is a 3.5 by 5 foot bed. So I thought that I can plan out and figure out what I'm going to put in the bed. I did see there are some really good companion plants, and in this book, it kind of matched some of what I was seeing in other places. So bush beans, peas, and potatoes are all great to plant together. And then their companions are cosmos, dill, hairy vetch, and marigolds. Marigolds I found work really well for us when it comes to Japanese beetles. We don't tend to have any other pests for our plants, but in late June, halfway through the beginning of July, the Japanese beetles can get really bad. And last year I put marigolds in with my cucumber plants, and it worked really well. The Japanese beetles didn't go anywhere near my cucumber plants, and they went after the marigolds. They annihilated them, but every day I'd get up, there would be brand new flowers on the marigolds, so it didn't even kill them. I was shocked, to be honest with you. So that's what I'm going to go for this year, is planting a lot of marigolds in with my plants to deter pests. So when it comes to the potato beds, like I said, it's 3.5 by 5 foot. I thought I would draw it out for myself to kind of have an idea of what it's going to look like and what I'm going to plant. Before I do that, I don't know if I bought bush beans. I maybe did, but I'm not sure. So I thought I would check my seeds here, and I thought I'd show you my seeds that I have for the season, and I have a bunch. Okay, well, these are last year's seeds. These are my new ones. So I have cobra beans. I ordered those. And then I have these blonde cucumbers. I never tried these before, but they say that they're very sweet and juicy. So I thought it would be interesting, and I might try to make pickles out of them too. So we'll see. I had to order more of a anise hyssop. I used that last year. Love it. This is great for stomach ache. And I have a very sensitive stomach. I think I've mentioned before. And anise hyssop along with marshmallow, game changers for my stomach. So if I have a bad day, have a cup of tea and I feel better. So I have those. I have radishes that I bought. I love radishes because they grow so quickly and they taste delicious. And then I've got golden wax beans, which again, these are trellis beans, just like the green ones. So I have a feeling I don't have bush beans, but again, we'll keep going. Then I tried some new seeds from this Johnny's Selected Seeds. I'm gonna give them a try. Now, funny part is, they have the technical names on these packages, which means I don't actually know what they are. So hold please. Okay, I'm back. So I pulled up my order so that I would remember, and I'm actually going to write on these packages what they are. Okay, so first thing, I have Yellowstone organic carrot seeds. I thought I would give these a try. They look beautiful, new to me. I haven't grown yellow ones officially. I've done red, orange, and the dark purple, which I think I still have some dark purple left. But so I added those to the mix. Let's see, I have this one tells me, I have a daikon radish. Love, love, love daikon radishes. I make a lot of Asian dishes, and slicing up daikon radishes real finely and putting them in broth to put over rice or noodles. Oh, amazing. If you haven't tried it, highly recommend it. This is spinach. So I ordered, is this the space spinach? No. This is the Sun Angel spinach. I've had issues growing spinach in the past. My problem with spinach always seemed to be I planted it too late, so it would bolt. And then for some reason in my head, spinach was going to grow like in this giant shrub, and then I was going to cut it like you do a head of lettuce. I don't know why I thought that, just lack of experience. So I ended up always letting it go to seed, not realizing that I should have been harvesting it as it came out and cut the pieces off. So we're gonna try again. I'm gonna plant this early spring. And this one, I think if I remember correctly, is heat tolerant. So that's why I got this, thinking I can extend it a little bit. And this is gonna go in my vertical garden because both spinaches I ordered don't like a ton of sunlight. And I think this will actually work in there. So even if I make the whole tower spinach, that would be awesome. Not sure, but we got spinach. And then I've got another spinach. This one is a hybrid smooth leaf spinach. And I got this because this one is cold tolerant, I think. You know, I love this because they give you a full description on the back of these packages. This is just fantastic. Let's see here. Begin sowing early spring. Sowing the soil at 85 risk of low germination. Yes, this one is cold weather tolerant. And I think this one will be good early spring, and then as it starts to cool down in September and October, I'll plant this again. I think that'll be wonderful. And then I ordered soybeans. This is new for me. I ordered soybeans because I definitely buy soybeans online and make our own tofu, our own miso paste, yogurt, soy milk, whatever the case. And I ordered these because they are great to plant after you've planted and harvested your potatoes, because these put nitrogen back into your soil, which is what potato plants pull out. So I'm very excited about this. Can't wait. And that'll be after I harvest the potatoes in like end of July, beginning of August. And then the last one from Johnny Seed is Cool Cucumber. See? And this one is, what's it called? Powder mildew. This is powder mildew resistant. I've never tried that before. I always get powder mildew every year, although it's never an issue because everything grows so well. I just cut off the leaves that have powder mildew and everything keeps going. But I still thought, let's see what happens with one that's resistant. So that's from Johnny Seed, and that other one, the Living Seed Company out of North Carolina. Like them very much. I liked those last year. Big success with them. Now this pack over here are my older seeds that I had from last year left over or the year before. So let's go through these. I've got my bull's blood beets, which these grow really well. I still have plenty of these left, so I'm going to be using them. My Tulsi from last year, or holy basil, one of my all-time favorite herbs now. I can't get enough of Tulsi, and I only planted 2 plants last year, so I'm going to be putting this in the vertical garden again and probably planting 6 to 8 of them. Probably 8 of them. Yeah, sounds good. Oh, I did get arugula. I was worried I didn't order arugula. I ordered arugula because this is great to plant in between everything. And it's nice because it just grows in a little patch and you harvest it. Love arugula. So I've got that. I've got basil. I planted this and this did grow last year with no problem. I was going to also buy some basil from the garden center I like to go to, which I showed you last year a little bit. But this worked really well, so I might plant 1 or 2 of these early, see how they grow, and then go get more basil. Borage. I know this is a medicinal flower and a plant. I think I had too much going on last year that I didn't figure out totally what borage was for, but it grew really well. The only problem is you have to plant it once it starts getting really warm out. So it's a later season crop, but I am going to plant this year again. Even if I don't use it for medicinal reasons, the bumblebees and honeybees loved the flowers, and it was so cute. Bumblebees would fall asleep in the flowers. It was adorable. So I'm going to plant that. This is my Detroit red beet. Going to be planting those again. I had plenty of lettuce seeds left from last year. They're from the Living Seed Company. These grew so well. I have no notes. They were amazing, and they grew really big. They grew quickly. Obviously, lettuce does not like the heat, so even on the deck in the vertical garden, by the time late July, early August came, it was too hot for these. They would just bolt right away. So my theory is I'm going to plant them early in the spring, let them grow, harvest them probably by beginning of July, and then I'm going to wait, and probably late August, maybe even early September, I'll plant some more. This is Bloomsdale long-standing spinach. I could not get this to grow, so I probably won't be planting it this year. So was not happy with that. My dill seeds, these grow really well. And a couple of places I noticed with the companion gardening, they said to plant dill in with a lot of different things. And I'm going to do that because I'm going to let it flower, since all the good pollinators like the flowers. I am going to plant dill regularly as well to harvest, but I think I'm going to be putting a lot of dill in this year, so I'm happy about that. I do have some Saxa 2 radishes left. They grew well. I'll be putting those in just to finish them off. And then this was my medicine pack that I got from the Living Seed Company last year. I think this is a stick idea, and it was well worth it. It was great. It had in it anise hyssop, borage, calendula, California poppies, chamomile, lemon balm, marshmallow, nettle, and tulsi. So this is my marshmallow that I have left. The nettle I did not grow, and the reason I didn't grow the nettle was because I know some people can be allergic to the little spikes, and I tend to have a lot of allergies, so I didn't want to gamble with that. So, all right, so that's this pack. Let me put this away. Okay, and then the last pack of seeds. The Cosmic Purple Carrot, I'm going to be planting those. They grew really well, loved them. The California poppies that came in that medicinal pack, they didn't grow very well. They liked the heat out front, and I think I needed to plant more of them because I only planted one seed and let it grow, and I think I needed to kind of sprinkle it in and let a patch grow. I don't know if I'm going to put them out front. I might put them out back here in my raised 2x6 bed with a lot of other flowers, or I might mix them in with like my cucumber plants and stuff like that. So we'll see. Then I have my regular boring orange carrots. I call them boring. I know that's not fair to them. I say that because Mr. Witch, when I have been growing carrots over the years, he'll say to me, wow, the wind really picked up. Ooh, sorry, distracting. He'll say to me, oh, you're growing all these weird carrots. Why can't you just grow some boring normal carrots? And I'm like, so you want boring orange carrots? He's like, yeah. So I have a couple of boring orange carrots. That's why I call them that. Echinacea. This did not grow at all for me. I don't know what I did. Not sure. I'm going to try it again, and I'm going to mix it in with some other plants, thinking maybe that companion gardening will help them grow. I have some baby bok choy. I might grow it, might not. We'll see. Slugs really like it, so I have to kind of bury it in amongst other plants so the slugs don't go after it. I have some Mizuna left, which I do love Mizuna, so I'm going to be planting that. Always, 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 I plant calendula. It grows beautifully every year. I normally plant calendula out front. It really likes the sun. I don't know if I can mix this in with potato plants. I might, because I don't think it's going to grow well in the back. So we'll see. I have my long cucumbers that I grew last year. I'm not going to plant a ton of these. They did grow really well, so no complaint, but I do want the other ones, the smaller ones, for pickling cucumbers. I have a few left of these heirloom seeds of my regular short cucumbers. I might not use them this year because I want to use the others. Excuse me. And then for Mr. Witch, I have some more boring orange carrots. So those are all my seeds. I will not be getting, I will not be planting everything from seed because there are some things that I really like getting from Circos. Something new to go with that this year is I am going to get rhubarb and maybe some berry bushes when I go. I always get my tomatoes from Circos. They grow beautifully. And what I came across when I was trying to start my own tomato seeds and grow, you can pick any variety of tomato you want, right? Anything you want. And there's a lot to choose from. The problem I found is that even if the tomato plant said it was for my zone, for my climate, whatever, it still might not grow really well here. And I was really disappointed in that. So I found that by going to Circos, who's a local place, who picks his seeds specific for the area, those tomato plants grow so well here. So I'm not going to do anything crazy or wild or surprising. It's going to just be plain, simple, boring, my heirloom tomatoes with those little, oh, I can't think of them, the little tiny yellow ones that grew really well. I never can think of them for some reason. But I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to go out of my comfort zone. I'm just going to stick to what I know with that. I like to get all of my, well, not all of them. As you can see, I have some herbs here. But I like to get a bulk of my herbs from him. He has a lot. I'm going to do more thyme because for some reason I never grow enough thyme. No matter what, I never grow enough. So I need to buy even more this year. I'm going to get my oregano, my rosemary, my basil. I haven't grown marjoram, so I'm going to get marjoram, parsley, cilantro, all that stuff. I just love to get it from him. And it grows so beautifully. I'm going to get most of my flowers from him. I know I have a lot of flowers here, but my in-between, my alyssums, my cosmos, if I can get some dahlias, I would like to do that. So I will be, oh, and my nasturtium. I always get nasturtium from him. And then kind of whatever else I can find that I'm not growing from seed, because the square foot garden allows me kind of a lot more space, which I'm happy about. So let's just see what I can fit in this year. It'll be interesting. So with all that being said, now that I've talked you all to death, I'm going to work on planting my potato garden. And in here it says dill and marigolds are good companions, bush beans, peas, and potatoes. I don't have peas and I don't have bush beans, so we're just going to go with potatoes, marigolds, and dill for out front. I think that sounds, oh, and then I wanted to see about if I can put calendula in there. I'm going to look that up. Then we'll see if that works. Hold, please. Okay, I'm back. Calendula is a good companion crop around potatoes and tomatoes. So maybe I'll also put some calendula in the back here with my tomato plants. That's going to be nice. Okay. Okie dokie. So if I look in this book, and I'll show you again, and I can see the potatoes in the center. It looks like the flowers are on either side. So I'm wondering if I should do potatoes and then a row of flowers and then potatoes again. It's 3.5 by 5. So I'm gonna, okay, nobody judge me for my drawing. I will show you my drawing afterwards, but I just draw it down in a box. And yes, I know mine aren't perfectly square, but it's the idea. I don't know if anyone has noticed, but in my cooking as well, I don't plan things. I mean, I have to plan for the week depending on what I'm going to make food-wise, but outside of that, I'm not a planner. There's certain things I'll plan, but a lot of times I just have an instinct for it and I wing it. And when stuff has to be planned a little too much, I just totally lose interest. So in the past with the garden, I haven't really done a lot of planning, being honest. That just isn't, it's not my thing. So I kind of thought this year with so many garden beds and so many seeds and plants, it would benefit me to plan, and it might make the planting a whole lot easier. So that is kind of where my head is at with that. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I have my picture here. Hey, and again, no judging. It's not great, okay, but it's going to give me an idea. And that's all I care about. So I'll do potato bed. Okay. There we go. According to that garden planner online, you can plant 1 to 3 potatoes in a square foot to grow, depending on how big those potatoes are. I'm going to stick to 1 potato per square foot, and that's because I tend to plant the larger potatoes, like the russets. And I have to say, Yukon Gold, last year, some of my potatoes were really big for Yukon Gold, and I was happy with that. So I'm just going to stick with 1 potato per square foot. So my thought is, if I do potato all the way down, and then in the center, I can do, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the mic. In the center, I can do dill, marigolds, and calendula. That's my thought. So now I have to see, and the marigolds grow really big, so I think I might put a marigold on each side at each end. That way the pests will get drawn to that and leave the potatoes alone. And I say pests, the only thing that comes after my potatoes so far are the Japanese beetles. And they don't usually destroy the plants. They bite off the leaves, but the potatoes have usually grown so much by then, it doesn't matter, but still. Oh, and the other reason I'm planning this, because there are going to be so many plants going in, when I even go to Circo's to get things, I don't want to come home and go, oh, I don't have enough, I got to go back, or I bought too much, now what am I going to do? I kind of wanted to go in with a list to say, this is how many marigolds I need, or this is how much time I need, or whatever the case. Trying to make it a little easier for myself. So, marigolds and marigolds. Okay. Now, how much dill can you plant in a square foot? That's a great question. Hold, please. And I'm back. According to the internet, you can plant 4 to 6 dill plants per square foot, which is awesome. So, I think I'll do, oh, and you know what? I'm going to put ones next to all of these so I know how many I'm planting. Or maybe that doesn't help. I don't know. Again, trying this out. Dill, so 4 to 6. Well, let's do 5. Let's go right in the middle. So I'll do dill, 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 dill. Okay. And then how many calendula plants? Oh, and I'm sure some of you were saying, just look at the back of your package and it'll tell you. It does, and it doesn't make any sense to me. So it's just easier for me to look it up online. Again, I'm not good at gardening. I like direct answers, not that I have to figure stuff out. Aim for 1 to 4 plants per that, if I could speak, per square foot. So the calendula, 1 to 4, why don't I do 2, right? I mean, I think that sounds fit. Should I? Well, if I have 5 dill, why don't I do 2 calendula in each of the other boxes? Okay. And again, nobody make fun of my drawing in any way, shape, or form, because I'm not great at it. But at least I get the point across to myself. And there we go. So this is my plan, and I think I'm going to use this exact same template for all 3 beds out front. Just keeping it simple. And this will be good because now I know how many potatoes I have to get started, which Okay, so normally I start my potatoes sprouting somewhere around now, but we've had such a harsh winter, as I mentioned, that in order to prep the section out front, we have to cut down shrubs, we have to redo the landscaping and everything. I don't think I can get the potatoes in as early as I normally do, which is like the end of April. I think I'm going to have to wait until beginning of May, mid-May. So with that being said, I'm not starting the potatoes quite yet, maybe next weekend, because it doesn't matter necessarily how long they sit. I can still get them in. But that is my plan for the potatoes. So I have my chart. I'm going to use this for all 3 beds that we're going to put out front. Wow, look at that. I actually got something done. Amazing. Okay, to be fair, that was the easy part because potatoes were kind of easy to me. So now comes the harder part of figuring everything else out. So I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me go through that. Instead, I'm going to turn the camera off, do some more of my planning, and then I will show you what I came up with. Awesome? Let's go. Hello everyone, I am back with my drawings. It's the next day because yesterday other things came up and we ended up doing that instead. So this took me most of the morning to figure out the other beds. The potato beds were really easy for me. That wasn't complicated. The tomato bed, that was not easy. So that's what's taken me so long. So a couple things. I did a lot of research online about square foot planting and how many plants you can put in a square foot per whatever kind of seeds or plants you're planting. I made a chart for myself and I wrote it down in the back of this Johnny Select seed paper. I won't lose it. I don't know if you can see it, but I listed all the stuff that I'm growing. And then next to it, I put a number of how many plants can go in that square foot. This is really helpful for me. So I have that. I've also been looking up online what good companion plants there are, depending on what you're growing. The funny thing is, you can almost type in anything and be like, does arugula go well with pole beans? And it'll come up, yeah, arugula goes great. Or does it go well with cucumber plants? It goes wonderfully. So I don't know. We're going to see how this works. But I am excited. I will show you the tomato bed plan first. So this is what took me so long, and you're probably going to see to the other side my screwed up. This is my screwed up side. It didn't totally work. And then this is my side that I'm going to use. The problem I ran into when I was looking up tomatoes and how to plant them and what a good companion plant is and all of that. The tomato plants I plant, I never plant just normal plain plum tomatoes. I don't need to. I go to Swiss Stack to get our tomatoes that I make into sauce and salsa and ketchup. So what I plant out here is whatever I actually love to just eat. And what I love to eat are heirloom tomatoes, but they're massive when they grow. And I've made it work the past couple of years where I cram them into a tighter space than they should be in. And they do grow, but I would say they grow and they give me a lot of tomatoes, but they aren't thriving like I can see they would. So a couple things. I bought a 32-inch high raised bed because I know the root system likes to go really deep for heirlooms. So I thought that would be nice because right now I've grown them in 17-inch beds and they work, you know, they're happy, but give them more space. I bought the bed that's wait, hold on, I wrote it on here. That's 4 by 8. So that way that gives me even more space for these large tomato plants. And then when I looked up about planting tomato plants, they need more space than a 1 foot square, obviously, because they're heirloom tomatoes. So I wasn't sure what to do. I tried a couple of different designs, like I said, failed attempt over here. And then I came up with, instead of dividing the 4x8 garden bed into 4x8, I did 3x5. So that way the tomato plants are going to have more space, and I'll still be able to get other companion plants in there with them, and they won't feel so mushed in. I put down 2, and I think they're called Sun Gold, yellow or orangey cherry tomatoes. They're delicious. I love growing them. I will grow them again this year. So I have them in 2 opposite corners. And then I put in 2 Lemon Boy tomato plants. And we love Lemon Boys. They're the low acidity. They come out like this big. Always have success growing them. So I put 2 of those in the bed. And then I put on the opposite corners 2 either Brandywine or Cherokee tomato plants, 1 on each side. That gives me 6 tomato plants total, and I think that's good. In the past, I've had, I think 12 or 14 tomato plants, and they grow really well, but I know I can get bigger yield if I give these 6 more space to grow. So I'm very excited about that. In this bed then, I'm going to be planting radishes, nasturtium, carrots, daikon radishes, beets, sweet alyssum, and that's it. Oh, and some basil. So that's what my little chart is here. Like I said, I don't know if you can see it super well or you're getting the backside where I drew the failed garden attempt. That's what I'm going to be doing with the tomato bed. I'm going to be putting it out in the center. I was going to put it against our deck, but I think I won't be able to get to the backside to harvest stuff properly. So I'm going to push it out a little bit and put it in the middle. So excited about that. Oh, and I'm also planting some borage, because borage attracts good pollinators. And I thought if I stuck that in the middle with the marigold, you get good pollinators coming in, and you get the pests that get attracted to the marigold. I think those 2 are a nice combination. So that is set. This is my potato bed. Okay, the next thing I did was I drew out the trellis section. So this is going to be 2 beds that I am going to put together. I currently have a trellis on one side of the bed that's out there. I'm going to put another bed in front of it, and I'm going to make an arching trellis to connect the 2 beds. And I think that'll be a great way to put cucumber plants, pole beans, and nasturtium. So I'm going to show you kind of like this, because this is how the beds are going to go. I can't see it super well. So we'll have one bed, we'll have enough space in between to walk through and under, and then the other bed. So the first bed is going to be pole beans along with 1 cucumber plant in the back. Oh, and I divided this. This is my 3.5 by 5 foot bed, so I divided this into 3 squares by 5 squares, as you can see here. So I'll do pole beans in the back along with 1 cucumber plant, and then I'm going to do arugula, carrots, marigold, beets, and chamomile. And then at the bottom where the arch trellis is going to go, I'm going to do 4 cucumber plants and 1 nasturtium. And then on the other half of the arched trellis, I'm going to do 5 cucumber plants. And then I'll be doing arugula, carrots, marigold. If I can get 2 kale plants at Circo's, I'm going to grow a little bit of kale in there. And then more beets, more chamomile, and some radishes. I'll show you this. So with that being said, these are drawn out. I feel good about that because that took me quite some time. And I think it will make planting a lot easier because as soon as this snow melts, we have a lot of work to do to get all this ready for the season. I do have the 2 green stalk vertical gardens that I will be planting in. I don't know if I'm going to plan that today. I might wait and plan that sometime this week. And then I also have the 2 by 6 foot raised bed with wheels on it that's coming. That isn't here yet. That ships on March 20th. That is going to have herbs and flowers in, and maybe that's where I'm going to plant my Mizuna. I think that'll go nicely in there. So that one I might not plan out. That might be I go buy herbs and stick it in there, but we'll see. If I do plan it out, I will show you in another video. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, this is a new experience for me when it comes to gardening because I'm adding so much more this year and I'm trying something different. I normally, like I said, just throw stuff in. I have plants, let me shove them in and see where they go. But I kind of needed to plan this year so that things aren't as chaotic and I don't come home with plants that I don't have space for because that happens every year. I overbuy plants at Circo's and then I come home and go, okay, and now what am I going to do with all these? So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. Please, if you are into gardening and you have pointers and tips about companion gardening, square foot gardening, whatever your experiences are with gardening, please do not hesitate to comment below. I am here to learn from anyone who can provide helpful information. And maybe if you comment, someone else will read it and go, hey, that really helps me. I never thought of that. So more to come, but thank you so much for watching. Happy spring. Spring is almost here. I hope all of you are getting ready to plant and have a happy homestead. Take care.